Comic talk, they're funny to me. 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 It's time for Comic Talk, where comedians talk about comedy and all things funny. Here's your host, Damon M. Cherry. Comic Talk, they're funny to me. What's up, world? What's going on? This is your boy, Damon M. Cherry, and I'm telling you right now, it feels really good to be back on air. You know, I hadn't did no live on air since I was doing a live on air radio. Haven't did that in a while. Haven't did any type of stream, podcasting, or anything in a while since the last time I was in a podcast festival. So it's good to be back. Y'all may remember my old show, the Stupid Dope Fresh Show, where I showcased the local talent here in Columbus, Ohio, and all Ohio talent on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Oops, I still got my TV on. Tone, let me turn my TV off. I'm sitting there tripping in the studio. See, I told you I was going to be rusty. But welcome to Comic Talk. This is a show where comics are going to talk about comedy. Well, every week I'm going to have a different comedian on, you know, a well-known comedian, a good friend of mine that's been in the game for years. And we're just going to talk comedy, man. And, you know, and that makes no difference from today. In the building today, we got someone I just I've known for a while, but I just found out he was from Cleveland. I did not know he was originally born in Cleveland, and we're broadcasting live out of Columbus. Y'all may have seen this man on Def Comedy Jam, BET's Comic Review. He was on Byron Allen's Comics Unleashed. You know, was Byron Allen, man. If you buy BET, that's gonna be major. That's gonna be major. And you know, he's been in Tyler Perry movies. I Can Do Bad All By Myself. He was on Meet the Browns. And he was in the movie 4 Minutes. We got to talk about that. I haven't heard of 4 Minutes, so we got to talk about that. But give it up for my man. I got to get a hand clap. So I forgot to download a hand clap. And we got my man, Tony Llewellyn. He goes by the name of Tony Tone. He's in the building tonight. Give it up for Tony Tone, y'all.
Hey, what up, my man, Damon M. Cherry. That's right. Up in Columbus, Ohio, with the state-of-the-art podcast intro. I mean, none like none other. Boy, what? Body talk, comic talk.
I just hope I don't get flagged for just that little bit of sample. I hope I don't get flagged.
I know. Hats off to the wardrobe department with the shades and the wig. You know.
Yeah, I was last night. I just woke up with inspired. I said I need to make something for intro real quick. Woke up yesterday, went to church, and then when I came back from church, I went in and dropped it and knocked it off, man. But
yeah, that's awesome, man. It's awesome. I appreciate you having me on, man.
No, I appreciate you being here, man. And this is my first show, so once it goes into the podcast, you would be the first person that was on the show. So you know the podcast, I'm gonna edit it down and put it in the podcast. So you were my first guest. We're gonna continue to do this each and every Monday at 8:00, and we're on Facebook Live, Twitch, and live on YouTube. So you know what I'm saying, people checking it out. I see we actually got some folks on now. Let me see if I can see who's in the building. Let me see if let's see how to do this here in the building. We got my man Ron Counterfeit Johnson in from down in Cincinnati with my K-State homies. He's in the building, and we got my man Donald for show. Martin, what's going on for show?
What up, y'all? What up?
Okay, so Tony Tone, man, my man. So how did comedy start for you? How did Tony Tone become a comedian? How did the game of comedy interest you? When did you get bit by that bug?
Listen, man, I was bitten by the bug the moment I came out of my mother's womb, man. You know, unofficially, the comedic gift was in me, and unofficially I let it flow by way of being the class clown in school, like we all do. With a class clown. As a matter of fact, man, at the school I went to art schools coming up. So like, you know, kind of like the schools like Fame, where you walk down the hall, you hear the band, you hear the choir, you see gymnastics, you hear acting and all that good stuff. So I went to art schools here, and I was a class clown. And my senior year in high school, I won Most Wittiest Award, which basically is the class clown award. So I was happy about that. I was more happy about that than I was getting my high school diploma, pretty much. You know, I was like, oh yeah, the most wittiest. Anyway, man, it really started there unofficially. Now, officially, when I consider myself a stand-up comedian is when I started doing comedy at the college I went to called Cumberland College in Williamsburg, Kentucky. Being that you know about Kentucky, you know about Williamsburg.
What year was you there?
I was there in 1990, 91.
You remember basketball player named Jonathan Watkins?
That name does sound familiar, man, because our basketball team was actually pretty good too.
Jonathan is my first cousin.
Okay. All right. I'm sure I probably know him if I see him. It's been a while, been some years, but a lot of them, I'm sure I probably know him. But yeah, man, that's why I started at Cumberland College officially. I was doing stand-up comedy around the campus, different events, and then I went from that to doing my first club was the Comedy Zone in Memphis, Tennessee.
Right.
And I mean, the moment I started at Cumberland, man, the rest was history, man. I didn't even go back. I mean, I wanted to go back, but I was an out-of-state student, so you know how it is. It costs a lot of money. Right. So I ended up going 1 year to college, became a comedian in college, and when I left, it was it, man. The rest was history.
So Comic View, which one? Comic View and Def Jam was your first TV appearance? My
first TV appearance, I believe it might have been a national TV appearance was Teen Summit.
Oh,
wow. With Prince DeJure and Ananda Lewis.
Yeah.
The original.
Y'all don't know nothing about that. Y'all would have to Google that.
Y'all got to Google that. Yes, sir. You got to Google Teen Summit, man. I did Teen Summit back in the day. I think that might have been my first national television credit. And then shortly after that, I think I was on Def Jam before I did Comic View. I did Def Jam in 94, 95 in that area. And right after that, around 97, I did Comic View, man. I did like several seasons of Comic View.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you was talking about the you got bit straight out the womb, so before the doctor smacked you on the butt, you was already cracking jokes, huh?
Already had a joke waiting for him. You know what I'm saying? I came out with a microphone in my hand. They saw a microphone in my mother's ultrasound.
Man, it's funny you talk about the class clown. Now, most comedians say they was a class clown, but I was not the class clown.
Oh, you weren't?
I was just funnier than the class clown.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The class clown got material from you.
The one I'm most with is a little short dude named Herman Bryson. Herman Bryson was funny, but I just always was more wittier, if that's the word you want to use. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's the word they use. We were just witty, just quick. That's all, just quick. Right. Funny. Yeah, man.
And I rode a bus, that on that bus. If you didn't have no jokes, you might as well not get on the bus. So
Oh man, and don't even go near the back of the bus. It's over. Right. It's over, baby. That's where you have that's where the veterans of. See, in Memphis we call it checking, right. And different places it's all the same. When you do a mama jokes, talking about each other's clothes and how you came up, we call it checking in Memphis. Right. I think Chicago they call it signifying. Ohio they call it ranking. At least in Cleveland they call it ranking. Whatever, but you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
We call it Jones. We call it Joning on each other.
Joning. Yep. Joning.
Right.
Yep. And that's all it was, man.
And it was only one person that ever made me shut up. And it was this girl named Sherry McKee. I remember. I never forget this. This is why I have a whole closet full of clothes till this day. And I give away clothes, and I buy clothes, and I give away clothes, and still got tags on them because Sherry told me one day that she knew what day I was gonna wear my clothes.
Oh, she was paying close attention to you.
Right. So, and when she said that in front of a whole bunch of people, man, I was so kind of, I ain't gonna say embarrassed, but that actually shut me up in the way she said it. And like I said today, my fiance today asked me, "Why you got all these clothes?" And I told her that's the reason why I buy clothes today.
It's from a childhood scar.
Yep.
If Fashion Police was a person, it'd be her.
Yep, most definitely. I mean, I never forget. She said on Thursday, I know Demond gonna wear that shirt with them stripes on it.
It was Thursday. You had
one of the mamas that wasn't she wasn't just buying you no clothes. You got a pair of shoes. Them pair of shoes better last you till it was time to get another pair of shoes.
Yeah, right.
They gave him J.C. Penney's because she had a J.C. Penney credit card. You know what I'm saying? So man, so you started now. How did you migrate to Memphis?
Now. I moved to Memphis with my grandparents when I was 2 years old. So that was I was just kind of like a part of the move package, you know what I'm saying? So like I said, I was born in Cleveland in 1971, moved to Memphis in 73. I was like 2 years old. Most of my life was spent here, and then I spent some time in Northern California early in my life too. I spent my third grade year out in Northern California. Then I came back to Memphis. The majority of my early life was spent in Memphis, and then as soon as I graduated in 1989, I know that I'm old. I'm an old man. I graduated in 1989. I lived all over the place, man. I was in South Florida for a while, and I went to college from there, and then I lived in Atlanta and been all over the place, man, since then.
You sound you sound worse than a military kid.
Yeah. People ask me about the military. I'm like, nah, that's just the way the course of my life went, man. I lived in Nebraska and I lived in Nashville. I lived all over the place, man. Just kind of moved around, man.
Right now, when did boxing start for you? I'll be seeing you on Facebook. I'll be seeing you in the ring. When did boxing start for you?
Hey man, boxing started for me back in the day when we were kids. We used to find a backyard. We'll pick a backyard to go in. We'll put some gloves on, no headgear, no mouthpiece. Man, we just risk it all. That's where it really started. Backyard brawling, basically. And then, but for me, I started around when I was like 40 years old, maybe 2012, 2013, something like that. I got kind of serious with it as far as going to a real boxing gym. I started training basically for conditioning. I still do it for conditioning, but I will spar, and I'm contemplating maybe getting one a Masters fight. Masters is like 41 and up. And like an amateur Masters match, man, where you still wear the headgear and mouthpiece and stuff, But I love boxing, man. It's always been one of my favorite sports. Football and boxing. That's been my sports right there.
Right now, I'm gonna tell you this boxing story, and I also tried boxing. Let's just say I tried boxing.
Say tried.
Now we had this had been about 86, 87. I'm old like you. I'm saying 86, 87. My freshman, sophomore year, we had a dude from my hometown. He used to box in the military. He's a military boxer on the team and everything, nationally known, worldwide known, whatever. So he came home and started a boxing club in the hood. And we all like, man, we're gonna start boxing. We're gonna start boxing. So the first day I'm in there, we got my man named Kenna. Kenna was a bigger dude. And Kenna went on to be in tough man fights. He went on to be in tough man fights.
Really?
Man, we sitting there sparring. I got the mask on and everything. I tagged him real good. But his natural response was just to tag me back.
Right.
But his glove hit me everywhere the mask wasn't.
Oh.
Nose, eyes, face. I mean, everywhere. His glove fitted that hole. I took them gloves off, threw them gloves down, walked out the ring, and I watch boxing on pay-per-view now. That's my boxing.
A lot of people got that same story. Like, man, when I got hit, I just took my gloves off, walked up out of there.
I'm like, dude, how you miss the whole match? You didn't touch no leather. Hit all.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's a wrap.
Hey man, even with headgear on, sometimes man, you still have a headache, man. It's I've been in some rough sparring matches, man. So, but yeah, man, the conditioning of it is what I primarily do it for, man. Just kind of stay in shape, man, because it takes some real conditioning, man. To even do 1 3-minute round, people don't know what it takes to even do 1 3-minute round in boxing, man, and to go through several of them, man, it takes a lot.
Well, if I had to give you an award right now, I would give you the Bernard Hopkins Entering the Ring Award at the age of 40.
Man,
it's funny we talking about boxing because I seen the episode of Martin the other day when he was fighting Tommy Hearns. I just watched it the other day.
Oh, they had that on when?
Huh?
When they had that on?
I get this thing on my Fire Stick called with the cable that I use on my Fire Stick. It's called Eternal TV.
Man,
I pay a certain amount. I got all these channels, but they got this thing called 24/7.
Okay.
Every TV show that starts at like 0, like 90210, all the way to Z, and they just play all night long, and you can watch whatever you want to watch. I mean, so I watch episodes of Martin all the time.
Man, let me tell you, that's one of the most unforgettable episodes right there, man. When he got beat down by the hitman, that was funny.
Right. Now, also, besides comedian, boxer, I forgot to mention you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, so let's go ahead. I see you got your hat on, and also being a Dallas Cowboy fan of America's team.
Now, Damon, let me say something to you. I got Jerry Jones here. I just want to say that I don't want any real hatred towards my Cowboys on your podcast right now. I'm here I just want to have some fun there. I don't want to Don't talk bad about my boys.
Right. And I see we got a few people on a few comments where you got my man Vashawn Covington, he's on. We got Coach Truck Bernard on, and Willie Brown is on. Willie Brown got a question for you. Willie want to know how many rounds do you usually go?
When I'm sparring, I work my way back up to 6 rounds now, man. Before I stopped, when I was more consistent, I was getting in at least 8 to I hit 10 one time, but that was one time. But about 6 rounds, 5 or 6 rounds now, man. So that's okay for a 51-year-old man. That's pretty good.
Right. So you doing all the auditioning rounds and all that? Wow, did you try for Creed? Was that a dream? Did you want to be in Creed or?
Man, look. Let me tell you, I got Creed 3 on right now in the other room, man. Yes, I plan on being in Creed 4. I'm gonna be in Creed 4. I promise you. I'm claiming it. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I don't have any kind of connections right now to Creed 4. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just claiming it. You know what I'm saying? I would love to be in a boxing movie. Period. A friend of mine was in Creed 3. He was Damien's trainer. Dude with the beard. If you see him, his name is
I ain't watched it yet, man.
Okay.
I try to watch it, I fall asleep. Not that I'm tired, I just watch it at the wrong time.
Okay. If or when you do watch it, he's Damien. Damien is the main guy going against Adonis, right? Well, he's his trainer. He got the beard. He got some lines and everything. His name is Yahya McClain, man. Good friend of mine, good dude. He's a former fighter himself. He's the ex-husband of Layla Ali. Him and Layla Ali used to be together. And he's, I've trained with him before too. He knows his stuff too. Yahya McClain. You can find him on Instagram too. Man, good brother, man. So he's in it. I told Yahya, I said, man, I'm gonna be in par 4. Man. So that's why I just put it out there in the universe, man. When you saw them videos of me training.
Yeah, that's there you go. That's your connect right there. Yeah, you connect. I'm gonna claim it. I'm gonna claim it for you just so I can say I know.
I appreciate it.
When he said he was gonna be on Creed 4.
Right. That's right. I'm gonna be like, shout out to my man Damon Cherry.
Now, let's turn this wheel a little bit more. Now, as far as we got the comedian, boxer, Cowboys fan. Now let's talk about the hip hop under the tent.
Oh, the Universal Circus.
Now, how did that come into play for you?
Hey man, let me tell you, I was living in LA at the time, right? This is around 2005 is when I got the call, and it was the show producer who's there now. Her name is Denise Howard. Denise Howard was my first manager in stand-up comedy. So her and I became manager-client back in like 95. I say like around 95, something like that, right? 94, 95. And we, over time, we parted ways, but on a good note, you know what I mean? Right. So she kind of got out of the business and she became the show producer for the Universal Circus. And she called me out of the blue when they needed a new one because I came behind Shucky Ducky. Like Shucky came behind Caswell Cal, the very first ringmaster of the Universal Circus. And after Shucky was like on his way out, they called me. So I'm like, all right. At first, I kind of blew him off. I'm like, thanks, Denise, but I'm good. I'm out here in LA. I'm doing my thing in LA. I'm making my way. I'm good. But I came in and met with the owner back in 2005, man. And the rest was history, man. I ended up being the ringmaster for like 6 to 7 years. And then I did stuff with them in and out after I left full time, you know?
Right. So, and were they just in the United States or did they ever go international? Was it international too?
They went international before I got there, man. They went, okay, I'll give you a little history on the Universal Circus, man. They first came about in 1994. Right. All right. And they were only in Atlanta. They were only because that's the corporate office. The president and CEO of Universal Circus, his name is Cedric Walker. He's actually a Baltimore Maryland native, but he was living in Atlanta. That's where the Universal Circus was born. Caswell Cal was there with him. They put it together, opened up, and they started hitting the road. I think around 96, they started traveling, and I think. Let's see. They hit HBO in 1998. That's when I first discovered the Universal Circus, and most of the world was in 1998 when they hit HBO. And they went to South Africa in 2001 or two. So they went early 2000. They went to South Africa. But by the time I got there, we never went international. We just was all domestic, all around the country.
And I remember when they came to Columbus before, maybe 2 or 3 years before COVID hit.
Yeah, I came to Columbus with them before too. Yeah.
But I don't think he was on the one that I went to in Columbus. I don't know if he was on the road or something. But
yeah, what year was that?
I don't remember the year, but I know it wasn't maybe 2 or 3 years before COVID.
Okay, yeah. I was gone then. I was gone by that time.
But all I remember is the people that walk around on the stilts, the big tall people.
Yeah, that's the Caribbean. The Caribbean.
They was up doing their thing, and when I tell you, man, one of them dudes fell and got back up like it wasn't nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
It was amazing to see.
They always get right back up. As soon as they fall, they get right back up. Every now and then they may get hurt to where you got to carry them out. Let me tell you something, man. Because they didn't die, I can laugh about it. Man, when they fall and have to get carried out, it looks funny, man, seeing a crew run up there, pick up those long legs and that body and cart them out of there, man. That's a funny. I be dying laughing. I don't laugh in front of the crowd. I be dying laughing. I know they're not hurt seriously. They just be a little knocked up,
But when they carry them out, do they still be doing a little dance? Look.
yeah, they be twitching with it. Ow.
So how's it working with Zeke? Now, Zeke was very funny when he was here.
Hey man, Zeke is still there. He's the last original piece of the Universal Circus, man. He's still there. Zeke's still doing his thing. It's always a pleasure working with Zeke, man. I mean, I saw all them recently. I did a little segment with them recently when they were here in Memphis, man. But yeah, man, Zeke is still doing his thing, man. Always a pleasure working with him.
Oh wow! Now, as a comedian, your timing and everything is great, and the voices, man. How many voices you got in your head?
Man, look, I never really counted them, man. I just do them as they come. Some voices just pop up, and I just do it.
Right now, what do you think about if there was like, how they're doing the verses and all that? What do you think if there was like a comedic verses? How do you think that would play out?
Oh, you mean like a verses between impressionists?
Well, you can do impressions, but let's just let's start it off with just a comedy in general.
Oh, comedy in general. Now, I mean, to be honest, our comedy versus.
Or was it basically just a show?
Huh?
Or was it basically just a show?
Well, like just a show, really, yeah. Yeah, if you swapping jokes, going joke for joke, it's more like our verses is more like the Jonan, just going back and forth with the mama jokes. That's our verses right there. But if you did a verses like they do verses with music, like if you put like Richard Pryor's body of work up against Bill Cosby or something, you know what I'm saying? That's a kind of a verses. But yeah, you can do our verses in different ways, So comedy, is either joke for joke or just mama joke for mama joke or something.
Now, if they had a voices versus, who would you like to go against?
Oh, if we had a impressionist versus, man. Hey man, I would try to go against anybody, man. I mean, I don't mind if I lose, but we do like a dueling Chris Rock, or what I'm saying, like a dueling impression, or going back and forth. You do this, you do that, or see who does it the best, or whatever, So that'd be kind of cool. I'm gonna call up some, because not all impressionists are friendly with each other for some reason, man. Like I have no problem working with an impressionist, but man, a lot of impressionists are very like, I can't work with them. We do the same voices and stuff. I'm like, whoa, well, whatever. But
funny is funny, man. I never understood that about comedians, man. Funny is funny.
Yeah, and, I agree, man. I agree.
Here in Columbus, there's a lot of comic beef. You know what I'm saying? I won't touch that on the show, but it's like, dude.
Yeah, I got that. And I hate it's like that. I'm trying to get to the Columbus Funny Bone at some point, man. Right now, I'm also touring with Don DC Curry. Right. Him and I will be working in Shreveport, Louisiana this weekend at LOL Laugh Out Loud Comedy Lounge in Shreveport, Louisiana this coming weekend. But we do a lot of stops together, and sometimes we do stuff separately because he's also on a concert, and I'm also doing I still book my own stuff too because I'm a headliner as well. But it's always a pleasure working with Don. And one of the few comedians that don't have the beef. And then, he's just a good guy, man. He's real. He's secure with his work, so he's not worried about somebody going up in front of him, burning it up, which, I'm not going to be trying to burn him up anyway. I just happy to work with Don,
Yeah, no.
So we should be at the, huh?
Go ahead.
I was saying we should sooner or later we would get to the Columbus Funny Bone. That's what I was trying to work my way to. I want to get to the Columbus Funny Bone.
But two things about that. Number one, the Columbus Funny Bone, as far as local talent, didn't really change the game. It's pretty much not existing anymore.
Really?
Yeah, not to throw no shame or beef on anything. It just the dynamic is like the open mic and all that is totally.
They don't have it? You saying they don't have open mic?
They have it, but you never know. You never know when they have it. It ain't like how back in the day you knew it was every Wednesday. You knew,
right?
It's like now. It's like you'll look on Facebook like, man, they had an open mic.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And number two is when y'all do make it to the Funny Bone. I would love to be, what I'm saying, on that show with y'all for that weekend. No, I ain't worried about no money, nothing. I'm home. I just want to be on the show.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. We'll try to make that happen.
Right. I got a comment for you. We got June Von Colson. What's going on, June? Down there in Bowling Green, Kentucky. One of my good comedian friends down there. She says working with comedians who are secure in their own work changes the whole mood. Yeah,
that's true, man. It's just, you work with people that are secure with their own material and own ability and everything, man. And it's just such a much better, much relaxed environment, man. Just having fun. And that's what comedy should be about, man. We all work together and have fun together.
Right, yeah, and that's true because I was on this was years ago, and this comedian has since passed, and I won't say no names or nothing, but
right.
I was on the show with him. I was just okay funny then. I was just kind of funny then, but I had a very good night that night, and I'm only doing like 7 minutes. You headlining, my little 7 minutes topped your whole headlining, so enough to where you didn't want me to be on the show for the rest of the weekend. I'm like, really, dude?
Right.
So I had one of them situations where I'm doing 7 freaking minutes, man.
Yeah.
And then I guess
man.
He was one of those people that came from TV and became a comedian, and
Oh, really? Yeah. They be shaky.
Right. And let me see. I got a couple other more people that came on. Let me see. I'm trying to get used to this whole checking out the names. All right. We got my man Eldre. What up, Eldre? He used to be in a radio family with me. Chris Clark going on. We got him on now. Chris Clark. Y'all know Chris Clark. He got some great characters that he played.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Look him up.
He does some good original characters.
Oh yeah, he got the pastor with the jacked up teeth that got the messed up church, man. Hilarious.
I bet that sounds funny.
Yeah, hilarious. Now let's take this in another way. Now I kind of want to do a real quick topic for tonight and get your opinion on it. Since we was talking about Def Jam and Comic View, and the age of comedy now, how comedy is so much. You get in how you get in these days. Now my question to you is: Do you feel that the internet, with all these internet comedians, whatever's going on, and how comics got their beefs with the internet comedians, do you feel that the internet is the new Def Jam and new Comic View?
Well, in terms of it being a platform, yeah. In terms of it being a platform, it's definitely a platform. You can't even ignore it. You can't ignore the internet. Right. And you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a new platform that's it has its pros and cons, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like it's kind of hurt. Let's see, I want to kind of say the integrity of stand-up, like the true art of stand-up. Even back then, it started out in front of an actual crowd with some jokes. Like on the internet, it's more physical what people are doing. They're doing skits. They're doing characters that's gained a lot of attention, aka followers, and it's caused club owners to they've gone for quantity instead of quality in a way. You know what I mean? Like quantity meaning, okay, this person has a lot of followers. I'm gonna book them even though they didn't come up in the old traditional ranks of stand-up, because the internet has caused people to skip steps. And when you skip steps, man, it stunts your growth. It stunts your growth. and you're gonna get exposed as opposed to a person that came up traditionally through the fire of the traditional comedy ladder. Stand-up comedy ladder is you go from open mic, open mic to MC, MC to feature, feature to headliner. That's the ladder right there. So if you as an open micer, you're trying to get your comedy chops developed with your first 3 to 5 minutes on any stage you can mostly at a comedy club, preferably. And then, you build from there, right? You build from 3 to 5 minutes to a good 10 to 12 minutes. Now that's MC time right there. You can MC a show basically. And then you build up from 10, 12, 15 minutes to 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Now you're a feature. Now you build from 20, 25 to 45 to an hour, a solid 45 an hour. Now you're a headliner, right? The people on the internet, it's a platform, but it's also causing people to skip those steps. And now they being thrown in front of a crowd, and the club owners expect them to do 45 minutes to an hour of whatever it is they drawing people to, and they don't have it. Right. Or they struggling, or they, when you struggle, sometimes they panic, and when people panic and stand up, they'll reach and grab stuff they've heard before from other people to survive, But I mean, it's definitely a platform. But even some of us veteran traditional comedians, we kind of using the internet as a platform ourselves. You know what I'm saying? It's an adjustment.
So what was your first tour? Who was the first people you went on tour with?
The first people I went on tour with?
And the first tour, did you do like the whole what was it, the Budweiser tour, whatever it was back then thing? I forgot.
To be honest, man, I have never been a part of a stand-up comedy tour, to be honest. I mean, I did a couple of comedy runs where we had a couple of stops, but I wouldn't say it was a tour. I know what you're talking about too, man. Like you mentioned the Budweiser tour, the Schlitz Malt Liquor Bowl comedy tour. I was a part of a contest that was featured on that tour on one of their stops when they came to Miami. I used to live in South Florida. So this was right before the Kings of Comedy came together. And the two headliners on that show was D.L. Hughley and Bernie Mac. Nice. And it was just those two, but they used us finalists from a local comedy contest to open up the show. So we did our finals, right there at the James L. Knight Center in Miami back in like early 90s. And they were the headliner. So, but that was I did a tour stop. So to answer your question though, I've never really been a part of a comedy tour, man. I would love to, even now. Like the closest I come now is working with Don. Me and Don, we do several stops, together. I'm his primary opener. You know what I'm saying? And whenever he can't use me, he has to use somebody else. But I'm usually working with Don most places.
Okay. So who was the first person to say, "Look here, young blood, I see you getting your nose wet in this game. Let me take you out on the road with you and help you get your game
up"? Nobody.
Nobody? Okay.
Nobody ever did that, man. I kind of just worked on my own, man. I never really nobody really took me under their wing and said, "Oh, you're gonna be my opener for a while." Never got that. Well, I would love to have had it. I used to always want it, but like I say, it didn't happen until basically with Don DC Curry, man.
And I know when I started doing comedy in '93, so this year is actually my 30 for 30 year.
Oh, nice, man, nice.
April the 7th would be 30 years as a Sigma, and then October 3rd would be my 30 years since I started comedy in 1993. Now, nice. when I started doing comedy, like a lot of people, I started at an HBCU homecoming show. That was the first time I ever got on stage.
I bet that was tough.
600 people in the crowd. Actually, it was a contest. MasterCard was on campus. They was looking for talent. It was like a MasterCard National Talent Search. So whoever wins get to go compete in a national competition for MasterCard.
Oh, nice.
I got third place, but the dude that won, I talked him into winning. I told him how to win. He played a saxophone. So
really?
I was like, TJ, if you know you got him with your saxophone, go all out in the crowd. Man, that Negro did that. Huh? and he ended up winning.
Nice.
But, if I had to say somebody that, like like helped me get started was my man Hawk, Mike out of Indianapolis. And a lot of people don't know Mike. I can't remember Mike's last name for nothing, but Mike was Dope Fiend Willie from the Master P movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So that was the first time I ever went on did a road show. Anything was with Hawk. And Hawk since went on to pass a few years ago. And but if you ever look at I'm Bout It, the movie, and that jacket that Dope Fiend Willie had on.
Okay.
And then if you look at I Got the Hookup, he got the same jacket on, and I got the hookup. But then I Got the Hookup, he got a W cut out in the back. I don't know what made him want to cut a W out in the back of the jacket. But I was standing right there when he did that, and then they ended up shooting that movie. So,
really?
Yeah. So
that's cool, man.
Yeah, that's just a cool little interesting story. But
yeah. I've been in the game definitely over 30 years, man. What about like just a couple of years? I started a couple of years before you, so we're right behind each other.
When you see that, my thing was I had an opportunity to get on Comic View and showcase my talents back then, but my mama wouldn't let me.
Oh, really?
She was like, you gonna do this school thing? You gonna stay in school? What no? And they like these kids with their mama today. They were like, "Mama, F you," and go do what they want to do. Now, I had one of the mamas like, "Nah, if I'm paying my money."
Yeah.
She only bought me a shirt that I can only wear on Thursdays. So, so you can imagine the type of how that was, and I wonder what my career would have been like if I'd had that opportunity to do that. But I don't fault in no other kind of way. And life is what it is.
Everything happens how it happens. It's supposed to happen. And I was kind of like my mother was like that too. Like, son, don't you want to go to school? Go to school. But I ended up going to school, but I became a comedian in school. So that was money well spent, I guess.
well, about her telling me no, instead of me being on that 4 to 5 year program, I was on that 8 year program. So.
You was a super senior.
Oh yeah. I was fudge from High Learning, baby. I was definitely Ice Cube. I was definitely Ice Cube from High Learning.
High Learning.
Yeah, but that was during my weed smoking days, man. I was in the National Guard, smoking weed, doing all kind of crazy stuff, just getting free money living on campus. I took 2 years of that, and I honestly say, if it wasn't for the internet, I probably would have never graduated.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that once the internet came around, you learn how to get all that information. It made writing all them reports and doing all them crazy statistic problems and all that. It made it a little bit easier. So,
yeah, man. Yeah, that's true, man. That's funny. We were around before the internet, man. As soon as they heard that you got mail, you're like, oh yeah, it's on now.
My email is still a Yahoo mail, but it's a dude in my church. I was tripping on about a month ago. Everybody was sending in an email, and he still had a Hotmail email. I'm like, dude, really?
Hotmail. You must have just gone do Morse code.
Right.
I still got a Yahoo email too, man. So
yeah, that's been my email for years and years and years now.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this question. Let's talk about a couple of trending topics. You know what I'm saying? Did you see what did you do for April Fool's Day? Did you have a good April Fool's Day? I don't know if that's considered a big holiday these days.
Man, look, man, I grew out of the April Fool's thing years ago, man. I had a show actually in Augusta, Georgia, on April Fool's evening, man. So I was just another day of a fun day of work for me.
See, I'm glad you answered it like that, because that was my whole setup of this. I was going to ask you, did you see what Usher did for April Fool's Day?
No.
So Usher was at the what's J. Cole's festival? J. Cole's festival he do every year. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but Usher was there, and so he goes on stage, and he's like we got a very special guest in the building tonight. Builds up the intro and everything. He's like, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Beyonce. And the crowd goes off. And then he's like, April Fool.
Oh, you serious?
So wow. I can imagine you've been at a comedy show and be like, all right, come to the stage. All right, we got blah, blah, blah.
Right. You know what? I didn't even think. I don't know why, man. It was like I had to be reminded it was April 1st, man, because I just don't really get in the holidays like that no more, man. The whole April Fools. Now next year I may think of something. All
right, then I'm gonna ask you this question. And when I was doing radio, I used to ask everybody this question. I don't care if they was a comedian, rapper, singer, whatever they did. I would tailor this question to their genre. With you being a comedian, now I want you to take yourself out of the position of being a comedian. So now you are a promoter. You're Tony Tone, the promoter. Everybody knows Tony Tone as a promoter.
All right.
You get to promote the all-time ultimate comedy show. You can put somebody on there dead or alive. It's just hypothetical. Who do you got on this show? Who's your opener, your MC, your feature, and your closer?
Right. Opener, MC, features. Four comedians, huh?
Past or present.
Oh man, see that is. I would have. Let me see. I got it. I just want to put it in the right order. And it's tough, but let me see. I got. Richard Pryor is always gonna be my GOAT. So I actually got Rich. He's headlining. I got Bernie Mac feature. I got Dave Chappelle. He's gonna host it. He's a great host. And one more. I'm gonna say Chris Rock.
Okay, as the opener.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a hot show. That's a hot show.
I mean, it's so many I could have. I went with them.
Right. Yeah, it's just a question I throw out there. It's usually I end my shows, but it popped in my head and I hadn't asked that question in so long. I used to always ask everybody that question. It popped in my head. I said, let me shoot this on Tony Tone real quick. I need to make some commercials because we need to have like a pause break in here. So I got that's my next step for next week's show.
Imagine around Richard Pryor trying to follow them motherfuckers.
and I actually thought for this first show, I actually thought since we was in the NCAA, I actually thought about having like a couple more comedians on, and we do a whole 64 bracket of comedian versus comedian.
Oh, that's dope. You can do, you might still do that, man. You can come back to that. That's a good deal. That's a good deal.
Yeah, actually, well, if I do, I'll bring you back on.
All right.
I actually thought I was thinking the other day, I was like, man, what would be good? What would be good to do? What would be good? Something different to do. Because when I used to do my other show, I used to do this thing. We used to call it the all super bad chick in a draft, like when any draft come around, like NBA or NFL draft.
Right.
It'd be like 4 or 5 of us, and I'll come up with the categories, and everybody would come up with the super baddest female that they had, and we would do a draft like that, and we would even trade.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So you do a bracket of comedians. Got the NCAA comedian brackets.
Right. Yeah. I thought that would be ill, so I might have to go back and revisit that.
All right. Yeah, that would be dope.
So the road or not the road? You like the road or you don't like the road?
Love the road, man.
People say they love the road for the work, but they hate being in hotels by themselves. They hate the diets they be on when you're on the road.
I love it all. I'm a CDL driver, comedy driver's license. I got my CDL comedy driver's license instead of commercial driver's license, man. I'm just like a trucker, man. I'm hauling jokes. I'm hauling tons of jokes, and I'm dropping them off, making shipments all around the country, man. So I love it, man. I love it. Living in different hotels. I'm single, I'm by myself. I'm just.
I thought you got married.
Man, let me tell you something. I did. We got married at divorce court. That's how quick it was. Man, I said I do and I don't in the same ceremony, man. It was crazy. Wow. That's how quick it was. But no, I'm not married anymore, man. I did get married during COVID. Everybody doing crazy stuff during COVID. I must have had COVID when I got married. That was one of the side effects. But no,
I did a COVID test a couple weeks ago because my fiance, her daughter. Well, I said it's about a month ago. Her daughter ended up with COVID.
Really?
And then we all vaccinated and everything. But I'm gonna ask you, and I'm gonna ask this on air because I was running this joke by my fiance, and she was like, "Nah, I wouldn't do it. But just as a comedian, I'm gonna run this joke by you. You tell me if you think this is funny if I should have did it. But you know when they swab you, right? The lady she went so deep in my nose. I mean, she was on my brain. And right. My whole thing was so I asked my fiance. I was like, "Is this gay?" I was like, "I think she touched that little jiggly thing in the back of my throat." That's That's that deep she went up in my nose.
She went so far. She went so far. You mean she went so far your nose and hit your throat?
Yeah, like Cardi B said, you hit that jiggly thing in the back of your throat. But you know, as comedians, we'll try anything. I want to try. She was like, "Nah, I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't say it."
Hey man, you know, hey, you can't be afraid of fear, man. You can't be afraid of failure. You can't be afraid of failure. No
Right.
fear. You gotta throw it out there, man. That's how we forge ourselves, man. But that's funny, man. I remember that test, man. I had to go through the same test when I tested positive for COVID, man. She scraped some of my thoughts away. I had some thoughts, she scraped them away. I'm like, God.
The first time I did it, she just went up in there. But this chick, I think she was mad at every dude she never had a relationship with.
Yeah. If a woman is giving you that test, you got to make sure she's not coming. Make sure she's in a good mood. Make sure she's in a great relationship. I've had great experiences with men.
Right.
make sure it ain't that time of the month.
Right. So how was your COVID experience? Did you sick, non-sick, or?
Man, let me tell you, man. I barely lost my sense of taste and smell. I mean, it was just faint. At very worst, it was faint. I still ate like a hostage. I was still good. It didn't really do much to me, man. I just treated it like a cold and just endured the little 15 days, you know.
Right. Well,
yeah, it didn't really do me up. It didn't. No, I didn't get real sick. Thank God for that. I think I had it twice. I know officially I had it once, but I think I had it twice.
I think I done had it about 4 or 5 times. But when I initially had it, like I work for a vending company, so I fill vending machines and food machines and coffee machines and stuff like that. So you know, I'm out there early in the morning.
Yeah,
I'm working like ain't nothing wrong every day. Till one day I go in this nursing home that I do, where it's a senior retirement center.
Right.
And they done changed the policy where now you got a swab before you go in there. I mean, I'm fine. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I've been going in this place since COVID, like 2 months for COVID.
Man, let me tell you, man, this new strain is so weak, man. You can't even call in to work on this new strain, man. You be like, yo, boss, I got COVID. They be like, yeah, we do too. Come on in here, man. But this is a weak strain.
It's been on the Lysol can all the years. Is that COVID? Yeah, so you know, COVID was on the Lysol can as something that cures forever. Way back, has always been one of the things that the cure before we even knew what COVID was. It was on the Lysol can.
Corona, that's right. The coronavirus. You're right. Yep. Yeah. Lysol. Oh, you need some Lysol and a nap.
So since you said you got your CDL, your comedy driving license, so tell me what is one of your worst road stories and one of your best road stories?
Let me see. What was one of my worst road stories, man? I've been on the road for a while too, man. I'm trying to think. I haven't had any real bad ones, man. I'm trying to think. And if anything, it would be my experience in the cities I've driven to or left or whatever. I'm trying to think. Oh man, do I have any real? I got some funny stories, like being on the road, like there was this club in the Atlanta area called 559. You ever heard of 559? All right, so 559 was this club that Bruce used to host. He was the favorite.
Okay, man. I didn't know the club. I remember. I know his story though.
All right, oh man, let me tell you. Me and Akintunde, there used to be a comedy run called the Creative Tour. Back in the early 90s, man. That tour, we need more tours like that. It was 2.5 weeks worth of nonstop work that spanned across a good 5 to 6 states, right? And as a young comedian, man, that's what you needed to help build your chops to work in front of people that in areas you've never been to before. Because, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, we get comfortable being at home. We know home. Anyway, man, me and fellow comedian Akintunde, we did 559. Now 559. Yeah, you know, yeah. So we did 559, and he'll tell you the story. It's funny, man. It was a club called 559, and it's like a real hood club. It was hood. I mean, it was one of them clubs that you wanted to go up before people got there. Like, put me up, man. Anybody here? Please put me up. You know, because this club was composed of old strippers, current strippers, drug dealers, pimps, players, pushers, all that stuff, right? Just straight hood. So they only really like to listen to Bruce. They didn't really care about us. So anyway, man, Opportunity's on stage, and I'm in the back getting at the kitchen getting something to eat, right? Because I haven't gone on yet, right? Man, I heard Opportunity kind of joning on a couple of people, and I heard him say, "Oh man." And when he said that, I'm like, "Uh-oh, is somebody trying to attack him?" So I stepped out the kitchen and I heard some furniture moving. I heard rumbling and furniture moving. I said, "What's going on?" Man, it was two dudes at the front of the club brawling with all the security. They were brawling with security, right? I mean, just people ducking, people up on the tables, you know what I'm saying? People getting down, all kind of stuff, man. And Bruce gets up and say, "Hey, yo, break it up, man. Break it up." You know, so he finally calmed things down. He said, "All right, y'all, the next comedian coming to the stage." Said, "Man, I ain't going up after that. I ain't going up after that. But you gotta be crazy." Man, I mean, that was a crazy story, man. Crazy night, man. It was crazy. And the people just got right back up, sat back in their chair and fixed their clothes and sat there waiting for some more comedy. Man, I said, "You gotta be kidding me, man."
It's funny. I've actually heard Ock tell that story on his show.
Oh, he told the story? That's the end of the story.
And then to go along with that, I was telling you, like, there's a lot of beef here in Columbus, Ohio. So I hadn't been to an open mic in a while. So I guess this had to be like right before Christmas. I go to this open mic that my man hosts on Wednesday nights, and I'm sitting there talking to him. I'm sitting at the table talking to a comedian. And this other comedian comes in, and I'm thinking he about to come over, what's up, and you know what I'm saying, dap him up, whatever. He snuck him.
What?
Real times, like 6-7 times, and some of them boxing techniques you got real quick. And another comedian's on stage while this is going on, trying out new jokes, and he just keep going like nothing, like nothing happened. This whole big
wow.
No, that was the funniest thing. He never addressed it or anything. That was what was funny because he never addressed it. He just kept going on like
he just kept talking. Like, so anyway, I was at the club. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
So yeah. So man, we at 8:52, man. We're gonna get ready to get up out of here. So if people want to book you for a show, get your social media, hang out, learn how to box from you, talk Dallas Cowboy, talk to you. How can they get in contact with you?
Well, you can reach me on Instagram at Tony Tone Comedy. That's TonyTone Comedy. Tony Tone Comedy. All right, that's on Instagram. Also, comedian Tony Tone on Facebook. I have a page on Facebook, comedian Tony Tone, as well as Tony Llewellyn, but like they maybe use my government name on my other page on Facebook. But you can always find me at comedian Tony Tone on Facebook, Tony Tone Comedy on Instagram, and comedian Tony Tone on TikTok as well. Like I'm actually on TikTok too.
Right, man. Now you know before we get out of here, I told you about my little cup that I had. So since you was talking about the verses with the comedians, I don't know. I got ventriloquist on my mind, but I know it's not a ventriloquist.
Oh, impressionist, yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for. I don't know why ventriloquist on my mind, but I got 5 impersonations that I know you probably can do with ease. But it's a situation for you to do the impression with. So it's pretty.
All right, let's see what we got.
This is like improv and improvisation at the same time.
Yep. All right, let's see what we can do. All right.
So this first one is Barack Obama talking about Donald Trump's mugshot if he goes
Barack Obama talking about Donald Trump's mugshot.
Yeah.
All right. Well, has anybody ever seen Donald's mugshot? I'll tell you what. They make sure they should put that on his sale. Because Donald or the Don, whatever you want to call him, he's going to need it. As a matter of fact, might want to put it away. What does Don have to say about it?
I promise that I'm gonna beat this case. I'm gonna beat it. I promise. It's gonna be fabulous. I'm not gonna go to jail for too long. Thank you.
Do you actually think he can win again?
In the words of Barack Obama.
He can win again.
In the words of Barack Obama, Oh, that'll be a hell no.
I gotta get some hand claps. I gotta download the hand claps. I gotta get the hand claps. All right, the second one is Chris Tucker wishing that Will Smith had to slap him.
Hey man, tell you something, man. Hey man, look, listen, man. I'm telling you right now, man. Hey, Will better not come and smack me, man. I wish he would. I said, Will, if you come smack me, I'm gonna smack you back, man. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? And you know this.
All right, I got a couple more. Number 3. This is we go. I don't know why I did 2 of them the same. I thought about it. This is Bill Clinton in the debate with Donald Trump.
All right. Well, Don, you just you're a bit too much. You did things you say. I know that you would never get reelected. Now, me on the other hand, I was too smooth. Everybody knows me. Hell, I was even the first black president of the United States. It wasn't Barack. It was me, Bill Clinton, because I'm just a Bill. Yes, I'm only a Bill. And I was tapping ass on Capitol Hill. I wasn't grabbing them by the you know what.
Well, that's all right, Bill. You had your time. You had your time, Bill.
Let me ask you a question. Since we're doing this, how do you practice impersonations?
Some of them, man, I just take time out and just constantly kind of find the right pitches, the right inflections, and kind of study them a little bit. Watch them on, pull up some YouTube videos or something. Kind of study their the main primary mannerisms and inflections and stuff, and try to find that pitch. And and some of them just come natural. Some of them are so distinct they just come natural,
Right.
like right away.
All right, and this is gonna be a funny one. This is gonna be funny. This is Red Fox finding out that him and Jamie Foxx are related.
Oh, wait a minute. Now listen, this is Fred G. Sanford. Now I just got some information handed down to me that I'm not the only famous comedian Fox around. Found out I was related, my first cousin, as a matter of fact, from Terrell, Texas. Jamie Foxx used to be Eric Bishop. See, that's how I didn't know he was related when he was Eric Bishop. But when he turned into Jamie Foxx, I said, wait a minute. Oh, Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, honey. Jamie Foxx, a.k.a. Wanda.
Gotta get the hand claps. The hand claps will definitely be on the next show.
I appreciate it, man.
And the last one before we get out of here. The Simpsons going to a black family reunion.
Oh my, holy wow. I've never had anything like this before. Everybody's so friendly, but they're looking at us very strange.
That's right, Marge. But Marge, I gotta say, Marge, I never had potato salad like this. Don't! I love potato salad.
Holy.
That's right, Marge. We got our friends, Peter and Lois Griffin here, too. Yeah. Hey, come on in here. Hey, how's everybody doing, all right? That's just Peter Griffin here. Got my wife here. Hey, that's right, Dan. We're gonna have a little fun. Hey, Quagmire, come on in here.
All right. Hey, a black family reunion. I want to see some twerking.
I want to see some fine ladies, too. No. Cleveland Brown.
Man, that's insane how you can do that, man. I gotta applaud that.
Appreciate it, man.
I put that up there with one of my funniest one is Reggie Ridge when he do on Bad Boys of Comedy when he did the one.
Oh, Denzel.
Chris Tucker and all them working at Chris Rock and Denzel and then Morgan Freeman working.
Yeah.
And
that was awesome, man. Rich Red's a beast, man. He's a beast.
So that's it, man. Tony Tone, man, I appreciate you having on my first show, man. So I'm gonna get ready to get up off here and chop it up into the podcast, and I'm gonna take this little piece of clip right here some type of way and try to post it on Facebook tomorrow so people can see just in case they missed that right there. I tag you in it. So one more time, people want to get in contact with you, they want to book you for a show, bring you to their city. What's your info again?
All right, once again, my Instagram, social media info on Instagram would be Tony Tone Comedy, TonyTone Comedy, and also on Facebook, Comedian Tony Tone, TikTok, comedian Tony Tone, TonyTone. All right. Hey, thank you so much for having me, man.
No problem, man. You gotta inbox me your number in the inbox section, man, so I have your number.
All right, I'll do that.
All right, man. Appreciate you, fam. I love you, man.
All right, peace, man. Likewise. All right.
Comic talk, they're funny to me. 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 It's time for Comic Talk, where comedians talk about comedy and all things funny. Here's your host, Damon M. Cherry. Comic Talk.